views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
You are listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I'm going to empower you and teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality to reveal the steps you need to let go of your perceived limitations. Have you had the limiting self-talk over and over? Have you noticed you allow your fears to hold you back? If you're truly ready for change, I invite you to join me, Tracy L. Clark, and start your journey of transformation now. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm so happy to have you here. As always, it is an honor to have our return listeners and our new listeners. We have an incredible show today for you. We're going to be talking a little bit about the body regeneration tools, simple tools, anxiety, things going on in the world. And we have two of our great guests. So I'm really thrilled because as the creator and founder of the body regeneration system, I say, or the academy, however you see our site at tracylclark.com, it's changing right now. We're morphing. But basically, I created the Body Regeneration Academy out of my own need when 17 years ago, I wasn't really given any more hope. And I had to come up with something different, a game plan. And if any of you are listening, you probably understand you get to places in your life and you're like, I need something different, but you can have that fear of holding you back. I don't want any of you to get to a place where I did, where I was faced with actually checking out again of my life. And that's not a place you want to get to. There are easier ways of doing this. And this is why I'm so happy today to bring to you two of our body regeneration super facilitators, Rob Laird and Doris Marcos, who are here to help you as well. I get busy sometimes and people are like, how can we get more of you? We've created a team, a place where you can feel loved, you can feel heard, you can feel honored, you can feel respected. We all go through challenges and you should never feel bad about going through a challenge. You should never feel frustrated about going through a challenge. It's going to happen and you're never going to have, there's this real misconception right now in the world of spirituality. And I'm going to get you two to jump in here where people think that when you are shifting through things and moving things out of your life, I always say the body regen system and way of living, it's a way of living because when you learn the physiology of your body, when you learn how to talk to your body, when you learn to connect to the God consciousness, you're equipped with tools to get through things and to allow old systems in your own life to drop off that you do not require anymore. But it appears people are still very frustrated thinking that to get to the other side, they're forgetting you have to go through the chaos, guys. You're going to go through it. And life will never be just blissful every day. There is also a misconception that when you do energy work, every day has got to be a blissful day or something's wrong with you. Who wants to jump in? I'm so glad to have you two here.
Oh, I would love to jump in on this one. Because like you said, they say that there's that misconception that every day has to be peace. And you tell me, if I drive out of my house to my car and some guy smashes into the side of my car, I'm not going to get out and be all, oh, namaste, this is wonderful. Right? But the big thing is not hanging on to those emotions. Like we have emotions for a reason. You know, if we didn't have emotions, we would all be born, perfect with love and all the time. But we have all these emotions and they come up for a reason. But the big thing is dealing with them and not hanging on to them and not staying, someone crashed into my car, like I said, I may be angry because it was his fault or whatever, but then I get rid of it right away. I don't sit with that anger for the next 2 days stewing about everything that went wrong.
I think sometimes people forget that, we have core emotions we would like our life to follow. So I know for me, it's important that in my life, when I look at things I want to do, that I feel love and I feel, there's that respect and it's consistent in my life, or the people in our community that they feel loved and they feel heard and they feel, also respected and honored. And those are the core ones, right, that we sit with. to make sure that that's how we're leading our life and making decisions. But you're right. Yeah. If you go out, I'm really tired in the spiritual community, and I want to go through some of these. My heart's like, racing, because some people don't like to hear it, of the spiritual community really thinking that everything has to be glorious, but that's not how we transition, but we can get to a place of peace.
So as we are saying, this is how we learn. Like you said, this is all about Earth School. And if we don't feel as we come here to feel, there's very little that we can learn from it. I mean, we have to be able to feel the emotion to be able to know where it's coming from. Like if we don't feel the pain of the or the anger that comes from that car accident or any situation, how do? We just kind of coast through life as sort of nothingness. Yeah. Like we do need that feel. We have to feel, and that's the way we sort of learn from it. Your heart hurts, so we have to heal what it is that we came here to learn from that emotion that created that heartache. Yeah. And it gets better, as we say. It always gets better as we peel the layers off. So we almost have to feel it, and sometimes the more we don't actually deal with it, the harder it becomes for some people, and we sort of peel the layers away. But then every day does get a bit more blissful. But you remember, that's how we learn and evolve and grow from that.
And I think one of the big things with that too is learning to deal with the emotion yourself instead of projecting it outside of yourself. So going back to that car accident, okay, yeah, I may be angry that it happened, or hurt or whatever, but then I don't get out and lash out at everybody I see and take my anger out on everybody else around me.
I think that's one of the big things that I love about our community and Body Regen and stuff, is to really teach people how to step into that now, because we are in this time where, and I keep saying it over and over, because I don't think it's really sunk into people that this decade is really about wiping out the chaos in your life, or it's going to drag you down, and it will drag you down. And the energies are pushing so strong right now. I had like this download of how, people talk about the Christ consciousness and the God consciousness, which are pushing us to raise our vibes so high. And people go, well, what's the opposite of that? Well, a lower vibe or a negative vibe, right? And if you're stuck in that, you're going to feel so pulled apart right now, because it's wanting you to go to what is your core emotions and what are those core feelings to keep making you rise higher and higher and higher into a place of being able to get out of that car accident and say, wow, yeah, I'm angry, I'm not happy, but not, tear the guy's head off or want to go punch the guy. It's like
heartbreaking.
Yeah, it gives you a better understanding. I'd like to know, because as you guys, as our facilitators, you're on the website at tracyclark.com. You help people because we have overflow. Obviously, it's why you're there, and helping to guide people in different ways. What are some of your favorite Body Regen tools that you use with your clients? And what are also some of the reasons, maybe so our listeners can understand what you like about it? Because, you guys do it every day like me. A lot of us, we live it, we breathe it, because we incorporate it. But I'd love our listeners to hear how you guys sort of came up into this journey and said, wow, I can actually use these tools. Like, what was it that sparked it for you?
Using it in my daily life, that this is the only way, as I remember you saying, every time I am able to help somebody through something is generally because I've had the ability to use it myself. So, I mean, one simple tool, of course, the feeling of feeling anxious or anything that you want to center yourself back. But I actually had this discussion with somebody yesterday, and we had a really great session. This was one of my clients, actually, for hair, who turned into a completely different experience. And she's like, I don't know what just happened. And I love when that happens, because we rolled into discussion that, I just allowed spirit to come through and speak to her in ways that I don't even know how it happened. It just sort of happened out of the blue. But one of the tools we managed to figure out is she's very empathetic herself. Mm-hmm. And I said, you remember, sometimes you do feel feelings and sometimes you don't know where they're from. And I said, remember, sometimes it is projected upon you and it's not your feelings. So one of my favorites, I always say, I'm not taking that. The one where you raise your hand up, sort of like the talk to the hand comes up.
Yeah. Not taking that.
Not taking that. And I find that she found that quite helpful, because they'll be like, well, she's very receptive to people around her, but there's a lot of negativity in her work environment that really affect her. And by her just symboling that, she feels at peace, that she knows that she's not personally being attacked, and it helps her in turn doing her job effectively.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that tool. It's funny. I was creating the Body Regen like the simple toolkit, right? Where there's like, I think 50 or 60, we keep adding tools. Like, you can use this on the fly. And when I recorded that, I loved it. And actually I recorded that tool on the beach. So there are some nicer places. I'm like, I can't record all the tools, guys, on the beach. It's not going to work that way. But so they're always evolving. But when I did that, one of the girls was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start using that, because exactly what you said, Doris, is she was talking about how that tool and that rejection and just taking that energy so you didn't have to have it anymore. Dorsal come right back. It's like that space of where it's so easy. And she said, that's so easy. Why am I making it so complicated? So I'm so happy you shared that. Because just by doing that for 90 days, the body starts going, I'm not taking that in. I don't need to take that. And I think it's when I always tune in, people are 90% of what they're taking in still isn't their garbage. It's somebody else's. It really is.
Funny because I did tell her a story along those lines, and she's like, I can't believe that happened to you. It really was something that had happened that was very profound. And it was, to make a long story short, I had a very, very dark thing happen where I actually started feeling very down and almost suicidal when somebody had walked into my car. As soon as they left the car, it completely disappeared. And that was one of those, a couple of years ago, it was one of those revelations. I'm like, wow, that was not me. And then eventually realizing from your tools, I said, okay, this is where this is going to come from. I need to really figure out what's mine, what's not. And that was definitely not mine. I mean, I had been through so many things, but that was something that kind of surfaced out of the blue. I've been already cleared of all that. So I remember taking that, I'm not taking that in. I remember even taking pain off my body, literally just by that signaling. And like shoulder pain that somebody else would project, all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's gone immediately. So that discussion with her yesterday was incredible, because it actually really opened her eyes to see, well, this is more than just day-to-day living. I can do more with this.
Yeah. And you don't have to wait. Like, you don't constantly just have to be waiting. Like, maybe I'll get some information, because I do find that right now there's a whole era ending of just, people were reading all these like self-help books and stuff. And it's great. You want to read them, but they're reading them, but they're not applying them. And then they're getting frustrated because they have all this information. Then they take in more information, but they're not actually physically doing anything in their life about it. So those tools all apply so well.
Inspire, create, empower. Only on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Do you know how to achieve wellness in all areas of your life? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Signs of wellness are a capacity to love and ability to nurture, a sense of purpose, a good sense of humor and plenty of fun in your life, a concern for others and a respect for the environment, a conscious commitment to personal excellence, a sense of balance and integrated lifestyle, and capacity to cope with whatever life presents. Well, people enjoy their lives and want them to last as long as possible. That's why the wellness mindset usually accompanies other constructive, healthy lifestyle habits. By adopting a wellness mindset and behaviors like eating well, taking the right nutrition for the body, exercising, and saying affirmations are just a few things to structure a healthy system of values and beliefs. I will be your wellness coach to help you achieve a wellness lifestyle. Call us at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. And visit us at MaryJaneMack.com.
This is Debbie Pokornik with a moment for standing in your power. Self-control begins with noticing how different feelings present themselves in your body. When you're feeling sensitive, for example, your chin might quiver, tears might well up in your eyes, and your voice might catch in your throat. Anger, on the other hand, might appear as tension in your jaw, back, or arms, along with clenched fists, heat in the upper torso, scowling, and a strong desire to yell. The more aware you become of your body cues, the easier it will be to recognize when you're on the road to disaster. Choose the emotions that cause you problems Then start noticing and logging the body cues that come with them.
For information and to work with Debbie, visit empoweringnrg.com. That's empoweringnrg.com.
Rob, what's one of your favorite tools?
Well, before I go into the favorite tools, I want to go back to what you said about what got me hooked.
Yeah.
It was, I won't even go into my own issues. I mean, I had spinal injuries and post-traumatic stress and all kinds of stuff like that.
You had a lot of body issues, yes.
A lot of body issues. Yeah. But what really sold me was when we came to see you, my wife, Julie, and I. And she had been in a car accident 10 years before. So for 10 years, she had had no mobility at all in her neck. She couldn't move her head to the left or the right or look up or anything. And we came in for a session with you, and you started doing the body regen on her. And you were saying, you know, are you ready to release this? Are you ready to release all this anger that you've been feeling? And up until that point, the only thing that the medical community could do for her, they said that they could go in through the front of her throat and fuse her discs together, and that would give her some pain relief, but not actually allow her neck to move again. So she'd been on handfuls of pills for years, and literally within 2 minutes, you'd put your hand on her forehead, and her head went straight back. And ever since then, she's had full mobility.
Yeah.
And I was sold. I mean, I was 100%
You were sold. We're not selling, but yeah, you get it.
Well, you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. No, it's a really valid point, because I love this story and testimonials. People, if you're listening, take this testimonial, this energy, and Rob's wife, because it's so beautiful, because we discount how powerful our bodies are. And this is where I got frustrated, because I was kicked out after 32 years. I did everything I was told to do, just like her, right? Everything. You follow suit, you take your medicine, you do everything. They're like, sorry, nothing more we can do for you. You manage it and your body's failing, but there's nothing more. And I was like, oh my gosh, like when I started to learn just like that, how powerful our body is when we talk to it, how powerful we can make changes when we're ready. And I love that. I love that testimonial. So like 2 minutes, when how many years of pain? You said 10. 10
years of pain, and within 2 minutes. And that was the reason I brought that one up, is because it shows how instant this can happen, this can really happen immediately.
When you're ready. And I just channeled something when you said that. I don't mean to cut you off. But you were right. She was ready. Some people love their pain so much. She was ready to purge it. She was done with it. Some people, you love your pain so much, you're going to hold on to it because it's giving you so many gifts. What Rob is saying is his wife was done with it. She's like, get it out. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that.
No, that's fine. And
I was going to cut you off too. I was at the same time.
But like me personally, I had spinal injuries, I had knee injuries, I had post-traumatic stress, panic attacks, all that kind of thing. And it's gone completely. And I'm 50 years old this year. I mean, I just turned 50. And they told me by this time that I'd be walking with a walker, and there was nothing I could do. I would have to just manage the post-traumatic stress. I would have to manage the attacks. I would have to manage my spinal injuries.
Yeah. And this is what I love as well, you know, and by using the body regeneration breath that you channeled and you did, and incorporating that with the other tools we have, when people really, and this is what it is, connecting to your system, what you're saying, how you're breathing, you know, what is your body picking up? And so many people forget your body hears everything. Last I checked, you can't like get up and leave your body in the room. You're not a robot and like take your brain and your soul somewhere out. Like you can't escape it until you die. And when people say, oh, they can't hear anything and that's nonsense, I'm like, what do you mean? You live and breathe in this every day. This is your vessel. It hears everything.
One of my favorite things I like to tell people is about listening to the body. It's a very simple one, and it's expansion or contraction. And they ask me questions, say, well, should I go do this? And I don't say, don't think about whether you should go and do this. Close your eyes and feel your body. And if you feel that contraction, the contraction is kind of like when you're driving along and you see a cop pulling behind you. you get that sinking feeling in your stomach. There's a contraction.
Yeah.
If you close your eyes and listen to your body's telling you whether you should go somewhere, whether you should meet some people, whether this is right for you. And we become so disconnected from our body because we're so stuck in our minds.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's exactly that. And I said, over the years, when you're trying to figure out, you get signs, you get pains, you get twinges and stuff. And I realized when I'm on path, I get full body shivers. If I'm speaking and I know that I'm on path, my body actually reacts with a full body shiver, which I remember years ago, they're like, that means the spirit went through you. And it was just funny things like that. But it's true. The more, like right now, I'm saying this and I'm feeling the shiver go through my body. And you know that you're aligned straight, you're aligned perfectly to what you need to be saying. And then you're on the right track. And your body's telling you this. It's the way, but it's my language. And you have to feel your own body and really dig deep. Not to say meditate all day, but in time you figure it out. You're like, oh, this happened when I was talking about this. And then bang, that's how I felt.
Yeah, I really like that. I have a client, she's so cute. She's a medium. She always says when the body shivers, I would say to her, well, that's accurate information. So she started terming it, that's spirit approved, spirit approved. And yeah, because it's your body. And I know throughout my day, I get them all the time, and deja vus, because that's telling you again, you're on the right track, right place, right time. Quit worrying, quit stressing. It's all good. And I really, really, I really feel that we are in that time now where people, they got to get out of their head. They have there's no more space to keep filling up the brain the way we have been. And that heart drive is overriding what's been going on in the mental process.
So a lot of people have been noticing that they're feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of sadness, a lot of craziness. And I'll say, you know what, as much as we've done the work, we understand it happens to us too. So I will say this Sunday, I had a pretty low day, if you want to say. And it was kind of crazy because at one point I'm like, I was feeling a lot of doubt again. I'm like, all right, this is going to catapult me to another level now. And I said, okay, I'm going to allow this to happen today. I made it a quiet day. I didn't do much, just watch TV. But in a part of me was like, no, this is not right. I'm following the wrong path. And my brain was telling me all this stuff. And then I'm like, you know what? No, this is not mine. I obviously knew that. The next day, so this was yesterday, then I'm like, today's going to be a great day. As soon as I woke up, because I felt better, I was done with it. It was a moment. Yeah. I had the best, again, session with my client. And again, today, and I knew that I was ready to be bumped up. And people don't realize that whatever it is that's happening to you is trying to test you, if not almost in a way, trying to keep you down from what you're going to be catapulted into. Yes. But people get into their mind and they start to think, oh my gosh, why am I feeling upset? Why am I so sad? Why am I angry? Why am I so depressed? Why am I feeling this way? But again, realize it's just a feeling in a moment. It's going to go away. And it's actually something bigger that's going to happen after. And I just allowed it to unfold and not take a part of me.
But that's your key.
That's my key.
You allowed it to unfold. Whereas most people get so stuck in it that they start drawing that energy through, and then the anxiety doesn't lift and the feelings keep going. And then it's all of a sudden you just allowed it. And it's so true. I had a couple of those while I was away, for a month. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I had to go to the beach and let it unfold. And exactly like what you said, to come and allow yourself to go from where you are now to go to the next ladder of life, which is that next rung to pull you up into more of what you've been asking for, dreaming, manifesting.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I've been waiting for, because there was a bit of a lull, right? The holiday season and stuff. And then you realize you're at that point now. It's like, okay, now it's time. There's another level of a service you need to do. There's more that has to come. And I think that some point somebody knew that I was feeling that I needed to go to the next level, and it was sort of retracting me back. It's like, oh, I can't allow this to happen, but let it kind of unfold. And then I knew the next day when all this started unfolding with the client, I said, wow, spirit was waiting for me to jump out of this, to get me to where my friends, like, I still can't believe this happened. And amazing like that, with people who've known you for 10 years, to have that revelation. It's incredible that it needed to happen this way, and spirit made me ready for it.
Yeah, I love it. And I think this is a place of really listening to the body. I know we have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to dive into some of what your wonderful tools you like, how you mix it, how you guys like to use it with your systems and your clients so they can hear you and get to know you. So we're going to take a quick break. Check us out at tracyLclark.com. You can see that Rob and Doris are right there as well. Under the Work with Tracy, you'll see them on the bottom and where they've come through and how they got here. And our whole community has been built around serving you, making sure you really are seen and heard and loved and honored, because we know it can be a difficult journey. But this is the perfect time to really look at life and say, I can do this. I'm ready to make some new changes, and really believe in yourself for doing that, because we're ripe in the energy. So we're going to be back right after the break.
Your inspiration all day on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Are you ready to shift your current beliefs about death, from debilitating pain and loss? Follow Angie Corbett-Kuiper as she shares that through choice, present moment awareness, and keeping an open mind that anything is possible, even in death. Tune in to Beyond Proof Radio with Angie, redefining death and loss, every first and third Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more, visit AngieCorbettKuiper.com.
Your eternal purpose is calling out to you each and every day. Are you listening? Tune in to Dynamic Destiny Radio with Coach Pete Cafarcio every first and third Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Learn to be your authentic self and live the life that you were destined for. Learn practical tools to discover your purpose and conquer other fears that keep you stuck in a life of mediocrity. Learn more about Coach Pete by visiting PeteCoaching.com.
Your money is your creational energy. When you feed your wealth back into what you love, it signals your choices and returns to you. Tune in to Money Momentum with host Karen Baines and learn the truth about the widely misunderstood creative energy that is the cash in your pocket. Realign the things you can't see to get the results you can see. Listen every month for a whole new hour on how to get the money already aligned to who you are. For more information on Karen and Money Momentum, visit soulwhispers.uk.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Are you ready to accelerate your wealth and success? Join Ahana and Daniel from Rise and Be Rich with Cornelia Stephanie on the Millionaire Imprint for Women on Transformation Talk Radio every third Friday, 1 p.m. PST. Step out of lack and into your power of creation. Build and grow your wealth. Create prosperous businesses that make a difference. Visit ahanalara.com/RBR show.
TransformationTalkRadio.com. Welcome back. I'm so happy that you've returned with us, and we are going to continue our chat right now with our super body regeneration facilitators, Rob and Doris. And Rob, I wanted to jump into you right away because I'm curious here, what kind of, when you're working with your clients, what is one of the tools you like in the body regen that we talk about? But I'd love for them to hear how you really are able to use it your way. mold it your way?
Well, obviously the ones I love are what Doris already said, rejecting it. That's not mine. I reject that.
All day.
Yeah, tap, release, let go. But there's also, one of my favorites is sweeping the field. And that's for those that can't see, that are just on the radio, you start above your head, and with a sweeping motion, almost like a Christmas tree shape.
Yeah.
You sweep down the field from the top of the head to your soles of your feet. And why I love that one, and it's so good, is because even though you say, I reject that, I'm not taking that, sometimes you don't realize that you're taking on other people's stuff. And a great example of that is I was doing a session with a fellow last week. Mm-hmm. And when I finished, I walked away, and all of a sudden I felt really heavy and I felt anxious. And it's because people are so used to being stuck in their brain, and they're so stressed out. They don't even realize that they've taken on someone else's stuff. It's natural for them to be in that stress state. So for me, because I'm aware of my body, when I walked away, I went, whoa, hang on a second. I'm really heavy right now. I feel really anxious. This isn't mine. So I swept my field, and I released, let go, and my body went back to its normal state. And that's what I love about the body regen, is because you start to feel your body, and you start to be able to realize what's going on in your body. And my biggest thing is I teach breath and body work.
Yeah.
So I incorporate all the body regen tools with the breath and body work, because they go hand in hand. They work perfectly together.
Yeah. And I like how some people think, this old way of learning, and we've moved to the feeling, and it is about feeling. It is about everything about what you just said. You walked away right away, you caught it. Oh, wait a minute, that isn't my stuff there. Or it would have just germinated and festered, and you might have had a bad evening, right? And I really, really appreciate that you said that, because the whole way now is really moving into the new of, what do I feel about that? And now how can I just quickly move it? Any good testimonials you guys want to share that we can share off to our listeners so they can get the energy of that, or something that's coming up for you right now that you've noticed in the environment that you feel we should clear for our listeners?
Well, I did a session not long back with a lady, and she had shoulder pain, hip pain, knee pain, jaw pain, and it went away within minutes.
Yeah.
Because again, like we said, she was ready to let that go. She didn't want to hang out to it. And the big thing right now, you were talking about it earlier, is this kind of divide where energy is pushing you towards God, source, whatever you want to call it. But it's also going the other way if you don't want to deal with it. And those people that don't want to deal with their stuff, life is getting kind of hard for them. So that anxiousness and all that. And they're, instead of realizing that it's them and they're trying to be pushed into something new, they start lashing out at those around them.
Yeah.
And so learning, really truly learning to feel what's yours, what you need, is so important right now.
Yeah, it is, because as I said this repeatedly over the last couple of weeks, it's like a blender, and things are just getting tossed out quickly. And if you can't see, I think that's the biggest thing right now, is that projected energy, like you're talking about, is people are getting scared and fearful and feeling left behind and feeling, all these things. And rather than acknowledging them and moving forward, they lash out, and then they end up, in different directions that they don't actually want to be. And, I always say a good gauge is look at where the people maybe that you want to be around, is their life moving, right? Do they have traits that you do like, you really strive for? Or is maybe the workplace or the friends or whatever, are they not going anywhere, not doing anything,
And the thing is, because things are shifting so rapidly, you may find that people in your world are getting angry at you because you're shifting and they're not. So there's ways to deal with that.
Oh, welcome to my world. I've had to clean up so much of that over the last, 10 years for sure. I was on the beach and there's more and there's more. I'm like, wow, like it happens because you do move very, very quickly. And what a lot of people don't know, it's a very big misconception. a lot of us that do this work, we are pretty big introverts. We're not extroverts that way. We love what we do. We love to help, but we're not like at every baseball game and football game and concert. It's just not us. But we don't have a massive, people think you have this massive circle of, oh my God, but it's very small because that just happens when you make a commitment. For me, I made a commitment to serve, God first at all. That was it. And if people couldn't keep up or places, I'm sorry, I love you, but you got to go. Like, we'll just end up drifting apart. And that's hard. It's hard. But the commitment is to the service, how we are to be used as a vessel, using with the God connection, universe, fine, however you want to say it, guys. But I say God. So the God connection, I'm that vessel. And I made that declaration. I will be the vessel to help as many souls as we can to come to their highest potential. But that doesn't mean that you can have a ton of people in your space.
Exactly. And it's sad when you think about that happening. But again, sometimes you have people in your life that come in, they serve that perfect purpose. And then when you're ready to part ways, you've I guess acquired the lesson you've had with them, you've learned from it, and you can only do so much with it. And it's fine. If you've really stayed with them for so long, if they really are holding you back only, that's when relationships as well as with friendships, you're never going to evolve, and you're really here for you at this point. This is, it's your life that you're living. And if you choose to be staying with them because it's not servicing you, well, that's the choice you made, but you can't complain when it doesn't work for you later and you're being held back.
We see a lot of that right now. I've had a lot of people that have come forward, especially in, obviously you see it in friendships and workplaces, but that's one of the paradigms, one of the thought processes that I do find keeps people stuck in marriages. It's a religious line of commitment. Meanwhile, they're going, it's holding me back. It's holding me back. There's no life. There's no connection. And that, it's an example, but I think for our listeners, if I can just start to move a little energy that way to say, if there's something right now that is in truth holding you back, it can be comfortable. That marriage can be comfortable. That friendship can be comfortable. That job can be comfortable. But deep down, it's affecting your physical health. It will affect your health long term. And you either have to reconcile and say, then I'm going to be comfortable just like this is and not ask or strive for anything else. And if there is something you want to strive for, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. And that's 2020. Like, I know everyone's talking about the vision of 2020. Like, I'm not, to me, that's not very unique. 2020 vision, it's the visionary. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not very unique, but it's really about getting clear. It's getting clear on just where are you ready to get uncomfortable. And if you're not it's going to come for you.
Well,
exactly.
Julie has this wonderful saying that she came up with a couple of years back. It's you're comfortably uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And if you truly look at your life and you see the relationships that you're involved in, you'll find that the majority of them, you're just in them because you're comfortably uncomfortable. It's what you're used to.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And when you start doing this work, we had a fellow that's been on the show a couple of times, Matt, over in the UK.
Yeah.
And when I first reconnected with him, he was surrounded by people that he was comfortably uncomfortable with. He was comfortably uncomfortable in his job, relationship, all that.
He knew how to manage them.
Yeah, he knew how to manage them. And I said to him, he tells his testimonial all the time. He says, the line that I said to him that changed his whole life was, you have to learn to love yourself. You need to have a love affair with yourself. Yep. And once you start loving yourself, then all of a sudden you realize that, hey, I'm not going to allow that person to treat me this way. Or I'm not going to stay in a job that I hate just for the sake of benefits or this or that, whatever. And that's how your life starts to change, by truly loving yourself.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
That is uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
But what I love about what you just said is moving into this year, which we're going to blink and we're going to be in 2021, and we're going to probably see a lot of things. We're going to see so much unfold this year in the world. So people better get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because the world is going to get very, very, very uncomfortable. So I love that you said that. And the more you love yourself, the more you're going to be able to walk through the global shifts that we're all going through as a planet. Because we're coming to a better place, but we have to we're going to be getting very uncomfortable for a couple of
I will say though, the good thing is about when you do separate yourself from certain people and you learn the lesson that you've had from them, and it's uncomfortable and it's sad sometimes, it feels like a mourning. it's amazing how some of those old friends that may have triggered me in one sense, I've learned and evolved from it. When they enter back into my life, there's actually no issue anymore. And so the same people that Matt may have had in his atmosphere before, he's learned to let them go. When they do come back, you find you can manage them much better because you've actually learned to grow from that. You don't allow them to trigger you or hold you down because you are that much bigger because you have walked away. So that's the amazing thing that happens when you do walk away. It's miraculous in a way because you can come back and say, wow, actually, you know what? I've changed a lot. They don't bother me anymore. And actually, we can actually have sort of civil conversations, but allow them to be who they are, but they won't allow me to not be who I am.
Exactly. There's clarity.
And I think one of the most important things that Tracy, you taught me was letting those people go with unconditional love.
Yeah,
exactly.
It doesn't have to be, get out of my life, I hate you, that's enough, blah, blah. You say, you know what? I'm changing. I can't be around you right now. I love you. But I had to do that of all things with my mother.
Yeah.
I had to cut my mother off and I had to say, I love you, but I can't deal with this anymore. I can't deal with the crap that you're throwing into my life.
Yeah, I think, what you said there, and I love teaching that, and people forget that is, I'm going to love you and let you go with unconditional love. And, I send you unconditional love and I pray for unconditional love, and using words like that for our listeners, I'm letting that go with unconditional love. And then you'll find that the courting that you have to that person drops off. I know people are always with me. They think that I stay angry at people for very long. And I'm like, if I'm angry, it's not actually that long. I sometimes got to talk it through, but it's very small. And I'm like, I just let them go with unconditional love. They were there. Off we go with unconditional love. And it's no place for us. And I'm not sure humans have developed this place where they think they're judge and jury. We're not judge and jury of another person, place, or thing. It's there. It was a reason. It was our school lesson. Off we go. Unconditional love. It's not for you or I to judge.
A great thing that I've learned along the way is that you understand is that remember where they're coming from and why they act the way they are. And I find when I put myself in their position, in their shoes, maybe somebody is abusive to a family member. Well, remember where that's come from. Mm-hmm. Maybe they had witnessed this and they're learning and growing from it. They're not there yet. So you remember, now I'm not going to take it in and let that project to me. But remember, when you know where it comes from, you end up having more of an open heart towards them, because you're like, you know what, I feel for them because they don't know any better to act the way they are. Now, if they choose to learn and see it sort of given to them, and you say, I'm giving you the tools to do it, and they choose not to, it's a different story. But if they're in a position where they don't know any better, who am I to dislike them or be angry at them? You know where it comes from. It's that sort of empathy that you understand where they're from. And that's how it's easy to learn to let them go with unconditional love, is understanding their perspective.
And understanding that they now have a choice of how they want to shift in their world or not, which actually takes a lot of energy off the body. If people really listen to what we've been talking about today, a lot of the things really would take that energy off the body. I know we're getting close to the top of the hour already, which happens so quickly. So Rob, we'll go back to you, and then Doris. Words of wisdom for the day that you want to leave our listeners with, or thought process.
Well, considering we're talking about friendships and people living all that, one of the things that we've been programmed to believe from a very young age, from beer commercials and all the commercials on TV, is that we need this huge circle of friends around us to be happy. We've got to be out at hockey games, at parties, and all that thing to be happy. Once you start doing this work, you can be truly happy alone. Amen. Because there are times when you can be surrounded by 10 people, or you're just with your significant other and you're lonely.
Oh yeah. I lived that marriage. You lived that marriage. We were the say we're more lonely with someone than on our own.
That's right.
Yeah. I love it. I love
and
it.
I feel that this is the theme today, because this was the last couple of days. People don't realize the strength in actually opening up to people that you feel comfortable with. Yeah. So it could be that cashier. It could be your hairdresser. Like I said, anyone you don't understand. If you do feel something, feel the need. If you feel guided, go out, go say say something that you would never have thought you would say, and you never know how much that person can help you. Reach out to the community, like you said, our community Facebook page, or anyhow, because you don't realize by actually saying things and allowing it to come off your chest, that one person that can help you in turn will enter in your life, and it will change you forever. Never hold back.
No. And, I like that you brought up the community, and I just want to say that as somebody's playing in my hair. Hello. We have, as a Body Regen, Effortless Academy or Miraculous Academy or Evolutionary Academy with the Facebooks, and we have this place where people can always go, and they were really created for exactly that. Sometimes you don't know. You should, throughout your day, always find ways, to help another soul and be in service. And, I knew what it was like to not have a place to go when you needed to express. And there wasn't that ability back then when I started over 17 years ago. There wasn't that network that was set up. And that's why I was so thrilled to have you guys join us again today, is because there's really this place where it is real community. Like when I watch the posts and people saying, I would never normally post anything, but I need help. That just makes my heart sing, because like, we're here for you. And if people are listening, you feel like I need something. And sometimes you want a community and you don't want all your family members in it, or maybe you do, but to say, here, I'm here. And that vulnerability to know that there's always safety and love.
I have to jump in there. I have to change my thought of the day. It's the vulnerability. Yeah. People think it's weakness. There is strength in vulnerability. And that's where the magic happens.
Inspire. Create. Empower. Only on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
You know that moment when you realize you've mastered your wellness, or that you will never fall off the roller coaster of life? Well, yeah, me either. But I still ride unicorns. I will teach you how to become a mindset master. You will learn how your habits and behavior affect the success of your nutrition and exercise, relationships, organization, and so much more. Motivation doesn't arrive in an email, so stop waiting for it. You have to take action, then motivation follows. I am Coach Peggy Wellness. Get out of your comfort zone and recognize the simple truth. We aren't that special. We all have crap to deal with, and we all have a lot more in common than not. I want to spark you into action. We will learn, love, and laugh together. So join me every first and third Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific for Coach Couch and Coffee Radio, where you will learn that being happy and healthy is way more than carrot sticks and squats. So talk to you later.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving, even in the face of adversity. Say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
And I think that we're now in a place, you see it, that the more we can just say, hey, you know what, I'm struggling with this, or I need help, rather than I'm struggling with this for 10 years and keeping it inside, and then 10 years of buildup. And then all of a sudden something will show up that you don't want in your body, when you can just sort of go to a place and say, I have this question, or I have this concern. And that's what I love so much about what's been created and coming together, is no matter where people are, walk of life, there's that space there. Doris?
No, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking, the same thing. It was funny that all this was discussed today too. Vulnerability, we were saying about men. Men need to be more vulnerable, And I find it more appealing and stronger for a man to be vulnerable than to be the one who has to keep the stiff upper lip. I just feel that they're true to themselves, and they'll only benefit from it that much more.
Well, I think that comes from Rob. I still see this as a big part, that there's still this weird belief that if a man is vulnerable or cries that he's weak or something. And I don't understand why that's even still there, but it is. And must be still the projections that are done through media and life in general.
Well, you're taught from a young age, don't cry. Enough, don't cry. Suck it up.
Yeah.
And all the moments of magic that have happened in my life in the last 7 years have all come from places of vulnerability. Whether it was me opening up to someone to say, hey man, this is how I feel. And then all of a sudden, another man's like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one.
Yeah.
We're not alone. Yeah. We're not alone. And this community proves that.
Yeah, we're not alone. We all have our space. And, it's always interesting. A lot of people, they always say to me, what's your market? And I said, well, it is. It's women that are seeking for greater knowledge and wisdom. But now I'm seeing more men finally. And I used to say, well, I want everybody. And, your people, you can't have everybody. It has to be one target. And I'm like, no, but men have such beauty and power and vulnerability. Like they just do. It's just, I look at it when someone's able to just shed that. To me, it's okay. Any man that is listening, or a woman, like that's a turn on for a woman. So the guy's listening going, wait a minute here. The more vulnerable, I'm not talking being cry all the day, baby. There's a big difference.
No, there's a difference. Yes.
But women get turned on because they realize that your heart is open, and women feel that. So it's a turn on for them. They feel it.
Well, it's connection. You're developing true connection with another human being, whether it's male or female. When you open your heart and become vulnerable, you develop a closeness.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, hey, this sucks or this hurts. It's okay. So for people listening, we'll start to remove that accumulation of energy where you think being vulnerable equates to weakness, which actually now is showing up through war and religion. Back to that beautiful timeline that we can start to pull out for everybody. It definitely has to go. And I like that, because I believe we will see a lot more vulnerability as the world is shifting over the next couple of years, because we are heading back, as I said, into some pretty bumpy times. And for people that are listening, you have to understand that this is, again, why we created the community, because you're not going to understand some of what you see. And a lot of what you see, well, Rob, you were in military and stuff, not to dive too deep, it's not what's really going on.
It's true. It's totally true. I've been in circumstances where the news is reporting one thing and I was on the ground seeing something completely different.
Yeah.
The news spins things the way they want to spin it.
Yeah. And I really would love our listeners just to take that in, because you can spin anything anyway, but it's about being in your truth. It's about really questioning things now. Don't just go about your life going, well, that's the way I was told 10 years ago or taught, and really start to question what is coming your way and why, because it's there for a reason. And shut off the news.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay
we were
out of
talking
fear.
about that. What's that?
Stay out of fear. The news, all it does is create fear, where the community that has expanded and grown, it's all about love.
Yeah.
And do your own research. Again, there's so many people that sort of live with, they want that to stretch for wherever they feel comfortable, and in community where they're like, oh, we're this group and this is what we believe. And remember, sometimes it really isn't that. You just have to learn for yourself what is right and what you're guided to do.
I love it. So as we have to go, because I can see we're getting to our hour. My core feeling that I like to feel in everything I do is really love. I have a few others, but what if you guys could leave the show, what would be one core feeling that you demand to show up in your life every day with everything you do?
Love. It's the same. Yeah.
We're all into love. Okay. So the next thing we get to some more core feelings of integrity, truth,
so many
feelings, integrity. Yeah. Being respected, honored. And I want to leave that with everybody today. Thank you for listening. Thank you guys for coming on again and joining us. Check them both out, guys, at the TracyLClark.com for Rob and Doris under the Work with Tracy Super Facilitators. They can help you shift and see where to go. Check out the community if you really want more teachings and learnings, and really to know that you are supported through whatever you're going through. It's really what the time is. And 2020 is really a new decade to start fresh for what you want. So thank you again. So honored to have you guys here. And we will see all of you next week, same time, same place here on Transformation Talk Radio. Thank you for listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality, revealing the steps you need to transcend perceived limitations. As a remarkable leader and pioneer in my field, I, Tracy L., will provide insights energetically and the tools required to move you forward. For more information on my partnership program, check us out at TracyLClark.com.